Can we add an Anthropocene time also? Okay. A man to recommend this was Eugene Stromer, Stroemer. He recommended this. And it was made popular by Paul Crutzen. He made this concept very popular. Okay. So, Eugene Stromer in 60s, 70s and Paul Crutzen in 1980s and 2000 mein, it has become very popular. It became very popular. It was in lot of debates. Ki, shall we have one time called as Anthropocene or not? Now, to decide the changes in the geological time scale, there are two very important bodies. Write down. Two important bodies that decide changes in the geological time scale. That decide changes in the geological time scale. One is ICS, International Commission on Stratigraphy. ICS, International Commission on Stratigraphy. The other is IUGS, International Union of Geological Sciences. International Union of Geological Sciences. Okay. ICS, International Commission on Stratigraphy, and IUGS, International Union of Geological Sciences. Okay. And they had a group called as Anthropocene Working Group, AWG. AWG is the Anthropocene Working Group. Okay. The Anthropocene Working Group, it recommends that let us add Anthropocene as one of the important parts of geological time scale. And then they have voting, whatever. News is that last year, March 2024, Anthropocene as part of geological time scale has been finally rejected. Okay. In March 2024, Anthropocene as part of the geological time scale has been now rejected. The last time I was teaching, it was still put to vote and there were deliberations. It has been rejected, but it says that Anthropocene will be used in informal discussions and researches. Formally part nahi hai, but it will be used informally in researches and in literatures. Yeah, Khushi, AWG, Anthropocene Working Group proposes, recommends the changes, and IUGS and ICS, they take a call. Okay. The current affair is 24 May, Anthropocene has now been rejected. Essentially, what was the basis of proposing Anthropocene? What was the basis of proposing Anthropocene? The basis was that man's impact on Earth is very deep and very intense. Okay, all natural systems are impacted by man. Okay, the man's impact on Earth has been very deep, very intense, and all natural systems have been impacted by man. That's why they said that we must consider some time as the age of man. Age of man. And this impact has been more severe since the Industrial Revolution. This is 1760s onwards, and more so after the World Wars, after 1940s in particular. So this was one debate. कि Anthropocene अगर name करते हो, तो should we name it from 1760s? Some said no, we must name it from 1940s. So 1940s में we had rapid industries, we had a rapid urbanization, we had rapid pollution also. Rapid industries, rapid urbanization, a lot of pollution. That's why this time after World Wars, some people refer to this as the Great Acceleration. We call this as the Great Acceleration. So the recommendation was, let Anthropocene represent the age of great acceleration. Okay, the rate at which technology has changed, the rate at which pollution has happened, the rate at which urban system expanding, the growth of automobiles, emissions. Okay, so they said, let us name the age of great acceleration as Anthropocene. इसको हम atomic age भी बोलते हैं. It's also called as the atomic age because of the nuclear technologies. Atomic age, okay, because of the nuclear technologies. This was the main debate going on till last year. Okay, it was almost considered that yes, we will name it as Anthropocene. The question was, what time? Should we call Anthropocene from the Industrial Revolution times, or shall we call Anthropocene since the 1940s of Great Acceleration? But present stated, both rejected. Now we say Anthropocene, अब हमारा geological time scale का part होगा ही नहीं. Will not have any phase of the geological time scale called as Anthropocene. Okay, these are some facts that you had to know. Okay, organizations. Okay, now a list of some facts of geological time scale. The list of facts, you can call this as the miscellaneous facts, and I'm teaching on the basis of some questions asked and what I think I can anticipate as questions. List of facts about geological timescale. Am I audible to all of you online? इनका प्रॉब्लम अभी भी है. Ganesh, Harsh, Preeti, Amrit Kaushik, can you all hear me? Okay, Rakhi, Pooja, it's fine there. Can Janvi and Amrit and Harsh, Anand, Raghav Agarwal, can you tell me if you can hear me properly? The dashboard has no issues? Okay, Rakhi, fine, fine. Let them respond once if they can. Audible but very low. Okay, that's Ganesh. Harsh and Raghav, Preeti, can you tell me if it's fine? If you are with me? Okay, ठीक है, fine, fine. Okay, okay, then let me quickly summarize this once. So you know the divisions: eons, era, periods, epoch, age. How I have remembered is, I would keep eon separate and I would call this as EPEA. Okay, and EPA में मुझे पता है era पहले आता है, so I know ये E और ये A में फर्क है. Okay, so this is, and age I have discussed a bit more on the Meghalayan age. Okay, कुछ facts क्या बता दिया आपको Meghalayan age. Now apart from that, the other facts will be 1, 2, 3 for number 1. The Hadean times did not have land. The Hadean times did not have land, and Earth's crust was forming. The Hadean times did not have land, and Earth's crust was forming. The outermost layer was just forming. The Hadean times is also called as the age of volcanism. It's also called as the age of volcanism, the Hadean times. If you know a bit of Greek and Roman mythologies, Hades is considered as the god of the underground. Okay, Pluto and Hades, they're considered as god of the underground. So underground is dark, it's hot, okay, it is molten lava. That's how we have Hadean times, representing all hot, molten lava, volcanic eruptions. So Hadean times, 1. Next is the formation of atmosphere and the emergence of water. The formation of atmosphere and emergence of water started with Archean times. And therefore, Archean times is the beginnings of life on Earth. Therefore, Archean times is the beginnings of a life on Earth. Life on Earth. Archean, ये term comes from the word archaic. ये किसके reference में है? Archean times is basically old. Old what? Old rocks, okay, old atmosphere, old earth, okay, किसके basis पे? Archean is basically old life. The oldest life is Archean times. Okay. So Mesozoic as in the middle age of life. Cenozoic, the new life. Paleozoic, the old life. Archean is the oldest life forms. So Archean times, the beginnings of life on the earth, because of carbon dioxide and because of water. Achha, now, I hope you all remember one point. Carbon is a very important building block of life. Right? You all understand this? carbon is an important building block of life. My question to you is, so if when I'm detecting life on planets, okay, so what should I record? A planet with more carbon dioxide or less carbon dioxide? There is Earth, there is a planet X, a planet Y, a planet Z, okay, there are a lot of planets. And I'm trying to study whether life is possible or not. Life possible ke liye we need some conditions. I'll come back again, teach you tomorrow. But some conditions we need, like I must have carbon, I must have water, I must have right temperatures, I must have sulfur, sulfides hone chahiye. Some conditions in which life will exist. Okay, one of the most important measure is around carbon. Carbon hai to life. Now my question is that if I go to planet X, life hai ya nahi? How do I know? Should the planet X have more carbon or less carbon? Okay. Now see, this is the catch. Because we need a lot of carbon, the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has to be less. If the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is more, ka matlab hai, the carbon dioxide is not being used by the living things. Okay. Of all the factors that we use for detecting life, as of now, carbon dioxide content is among the most important measures. So a planet which has less carbon dioxide is indicative of the carbon dioxide must have entered the land, the carbon dioxide must have entered the waters, and maybe life has now formed. I hope you got the analogy here. Okay, so maybe you can write this point down. While carbon is the most important component of life and organic evolution, carbon is the most important component of life and organic evolution. The indication of possibility of life, is when carbon dioxide is less in the atmosphere. Is when the carbon dioxide is less in the atmosphere. This means carbon dioxide has been removed by. This means carbon dioxide has been removed by. Ab batao, if this is the Earth here, if this is the Earth here, that's the atmosphere. There is carbon dioxide. How will the carbon dioxide get removed? What removes carbon dioxide? Okay. How much CO2 we have on Earth right now? 0.03%, okay, by volume. Removal ka do mechanism hai. One is it gets washed down. When it rains, the rain can dissolve CO2 and can wash down the CO2. And the second mechanism of CO2 removal is, okay, plants, photosynthesis. Okay. And of these two, water plays the most important role in removing the initial carbon dioxide. So agar kisi planet mein CO2 less hai, matlab there is water, there is hydrological cycle that's washing the CO2 out from the atmosphere. Okay? So add this point here. Okay, that आपने कुछ लिखा था last में? Removed by. So removed by hydrological processes, and rainfall, and also photosynthesis. Hydrological process and rainfall and photosynthesis. I hope you understood now. If I have a planet where the CO2 content less hai, matlab every possibility there is water there. Less hai because water has removed the CO2. And possibility there is some, okay, of photosynthesis happening. And photosynthesis removed by the plants. So all of this happened during the Archean times. Okay, so our discussion was geological time scale. The Archean times witnessed, next slide, write down. The Archean times witnessed this process of CO2 removal. It witnessed this process of CO2 removal. I'm just telling you what happened when, Archean times. Next slide down. Archean times was also a phase of plate tectonics on the earth. Archean times was also a phase of plate tectonics on earth. Okay, plate tectonics as in continents are moving, volcanism happening, the oceans are forming, the phase of plate tectonics. Write down. It's also the phase of the first fold mountains on the earth. The phase of first fold mountains on the earth. That's why some of the oldest mountains are the Archean mountains. India में दो ऐसे mountains हैं. One is Aravallis. Aravali is Archean times. Even Eastern Ghats, there are Archean times, and even some parts of Satpura Hills. Some parts Satpura Hills are also Archean. Okay, the Archean times are some of the oldest mountains of the world. Okay, and then next. एक और फैक्ट याद रखो that much of the life during the Archean times was single-celled bacteria. We call these as cyanobacteria. Most of the life during Archean times was the single-celled bacteria called as cyanobacteria, and cyanobacteria played a very important role in the oxygen creation on Earth. They played an important role in the creation of oxygen. This was the question. Okay. So if you look at the atmosphere. Atmosphere partly is mechanical in origin. It is partly biological in origin. And it's also chemical in origin. Mechanical का मतलब होता है the atmosphere is part of some mechanical process. Like volcanism. Volcanism gave us carbon dioxide. Volcanism gave us lot of nitrogen compounds and nitrogen gas. Biological process, oxygen, was because of photosynthesis or even chemosynthesis. And chemical origin, example is ozone. Ozone is because of the chemical reactions. Okay, this was a question that the atmosphere origin is because of what? And oxygen formed later. The older gases were carbon dioxide and nitrogen. And because I'm discussing life here, just know this. Again, a question was there. What are the primary gases in the origin of life? What are the primary gases, origin of life? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, or primary gases, primary elements. Primary elements in life origin: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, I said nitrogen, you have got sulfur, sulfur, and so on. इसमें याद रहे, oxygen is not important in the primary life origin. ये तो बाद में हुआ. The initial life forms did not require oxygen. Okay? They survived in anaerobic conditions without oxygen. So the right answer is carbon बहुत important. It's almost a building block. Carbon and nitrogen. These are the building blocks. You need these two. You also need hydrogen, part of hydrocarbons, and also sulfur, in particular sulfides. This was a question. Which of the following elements are the primary source of life? Okay. Not oxygen, it is carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and sulfides, sulfur compounds. Okay. So all of this was part of the Archean times, landforms, and so on. Achha. Next is about the Proterozoic times. Proterozoic times. Proterozoic. I hope you remember this also is an eon. Eon में क्या क्या थे? Hadean times, Archean times, and Proterozoic times. And then we had Phanerozoic. The Proterozoic eon times में, this was the beginnings of more complex life forms. This was the beginning of more complex life forms. And know two names: stromatolites and trilobites. These are the two important life forms of the Proterozoic times: stromatolites and trilobites. They look like insects. Okay. S-T-R-O-M-A, stromatolites. M-A-T-O-L-I-T-S, stromatolites and trilobites. These are now extinct. Okay. But this was happening in the times. And also some of the older marine life forms like jellyfish. The older life forms like jellyfish is also Proterozoic times. The next fact, Cambrian times. Cambrian times. Now I have entered the Paleozoic times. Cambrian times, okay, is also called as the phase of Cambrian explosion, because of the emergence of a great variety of life forms. It's also called as Cambrian explosion. The Cambrian times is also called as Cambrian explosion because of emergence of a great variety of life forms, most of which were insects. Most of which are insects or invertebrates. Insects and invertebrates. Okay. Cambrian times. Okay. Now, the Devonian times, Devonian and Silurian times, this was the age of trees. Okay. The times of trees the, of woody plants. But most of these were non-flowering. Most of these were non-flowering plants. The flowering plants happened much later. Okay. The Devonian and Silurian times, the age of trees, okay. Achha, in this time, you also had lot of fishes. Devonian, Silurian times, we also had lot of fishes. Then the Permian times, the late Paleozoic. It's also called as the Great Dying. It's also called as the Great Dying. Lot of life forms went extinct here. The Permian extinction, one of the earliest, very rapid loss of life forms. Great dying, one of the major phases of global mass extinctions. The phases of global mass extinction. It's called as great dying. More than 90% of life forms found then went extinct. One more fact. Permian times was also the formation of the Pangea. Permian times was also the formation of the Pangea. The Pangea was complete. I hope you know what Pangea is. Pangea is a very large super continent. Okay. There were many such continents. The Pangea we talk about is the more popular one. So क्या था देखो, say in the Hadean times तो land ही नहीं था. There was no land. In the Archean times, land and oceans are formed. Then the land continents, they start breaking up, टूट गए. Then the continents starts to combine and fuse. And ultimately, they have become a large continent. Okay? So, Hadean times, I said no land. Land ही नहीं है. Crust बन रहा है. In the Archean times, continents and oceans are formed. Then for some reasons, the continents break up into small pieces. And then they start again fusion. This is the process of continent collision चल रहा है. Okay. And then we have the Pangea formation. Pangea is a large continent. This fusion happening more in the Devonian times, Silurian times, happening in the Carboniferous times. In the Permian times, the Pangea is formed. वहीं add कर दो. The Pangea again broke up. The Pangea again broke up during the mid-Mesozoic times. It again broke up during the mid-Mesozoic times around 180 million years ago. Around 200 to 180 million years ago. Okay. So it's called as the supercontinent cycle बोलते हैं. There is something called as a continent cycle, where continents form, they break up. They again form, they again break up. They again form, they again break up. It happens continuously. Okay. So the Pangea that we know of, okay, the reference is there in this works of Wegener. Pangea bana kab? I said it was the Permian times. It again broke up during the mid-Mesozoic times, and another one is forming. Maybe around 150 million years from now, एक और बड़ा बन जाएगा. But right now, it is in the phase of again formation. Okay? So you can add one point here that Wegener's theory, I hope some of you heard about what's called as continental drift theory. Wegener's theory is about this Pangea. Yeah, optional will know a bit more, but for GS that's good enough. Okay, the Wegener's theory talks about a theory called as continental drift theory, okay, and this refers to Pangea, its formation and its breaking up. ये Pangea कब बना था? It was formed in the Permian times. It then again broke up in the mid Mesozoic times. Online, are you all writing as I'm speaking? Offline also is fine, all of you. And there's nothing like a paragraph notes. You should just know the facts and then move on quickly. All managing? Okay. So that's one fact. The next fact write down, that the dinosaurs emerged during, anybody knows when? They emerged when? In the Triassic times, correct. Triassic times does not subdivide, and therefore the Mesozoic times are called as the age of reptiles. Dinosaurs are one type of reptiles. They emerged during the Triassic times. They became dominant during Cretaceous times. वो Jurassic Park देखा है ना, इसलिए आप Jurassic करते रहते हो. Right? So they became dominant, numerous in the Cretaceous times, and they also went extinct in the Cretaceous times. Yes, Wegener's theory, Pooja, correct. They were dominant in Cretaceous and they also go extinct in the Cretaceous. Problem with our imagination is, when we say extinct, I assume कि सुबह थे शाम को नहीं रहे. ऐसा नहीं है. The extinction process can take millions of years. For the dinosaurs to go extinct, it took more than 50 million years, and that's all happening within Cretaceous. They say, the human species, we have become abundant in the 21st century, and 21st century if the way we are doing what we are doing, we might even go extinct by the turn of century. Okay, all of us will be roasted alive, the type of global warming we have. So we became maximum 8 billion plus, and we also disappeared from the space of Earth. Okay, ऐसे कुछ सोचो आप. So the dinosaurs are dominant in Cretaceous times, and they also went extinct in Cretaceous times, although the reasons for their extinction is debated. The reasons for the extinction debated. It could be because of climate change. It can be because of meteorite impact and the associated atmospheric changes. Why did dinosaurs go extinct? I said the reasons for the extinctions is debated. The extinction could have been because of climate change. Like it was becoming colder slowly, gradually. Okay, and also maybe because of impact of meteorites. Okay, because see, when the Earth has a massive impact of meteorite, lot of volcanic eruption can happen, and even lot of dust can be thrown out. The dust kind of blocks the atmosphere, so sunlight can't come in. Okay, and this can create changes in the temperature patterns. So this was one theory. The dinosaurs may have disappeared because of impact of meteorite. Okay. The next is the Tertiary times. The Tertiary times we also call this as the age of mammals. Mammals mein hi, we also have the age of primates. Primates are essentially monkeys, apes. The age of primates, the age of mammals. And the tertiary times is also the age of recent mountain building. The age of recent mountain building. Okay. This mountain building is also called as the alpine mountain building. We can call this as the tertiary mountain building or call this as alpine mountain building. Okay. And it is with this mountain building that a new supercontinent formation process has started. It is this mountain building. It is this mountain building with which a new supercontinent formation has started. What do you mean by this? Now, dekho, we had Pangea, some old continent called Pangea. The Pangea broke up. Then again, the Pangea is, the broken parts are colliding. The broken parts are colliding. When was Pangea formed? I said Permian times. When did Pangea break up? Around mid Mesozoic times. Now when the blocks of continents are again combining, this will create a large continent. This collision, this creates mountains. When two continents collide, the collision will create a mountain elevation. Okay. So we say the tertiary mountain building is the process of formation of a new supercontinent. So I'm just listing down what happened when, in a very high level. Some of the concepts I will expand as I move on. Okay. So for now, just know this, that tertiary times is the age of mountain building. The mountain building ka matlab hai, okay, some continent is being forming, and this alpine mountain buildings includes which mountains? It includes Rockies of North America. It includes the Andes of South America. It includes Atlas Mountains of Africa. And it includes the Great Trans-Eurasian Mountains. The Alpine Mountains includes what all? Okay. Today, the Alpine Mountains are the most extensive mountain systems. Alpine में Alps of Europe भी है. Alps of Europe, Rockies of North America, Andes of South America, Atlas Mountain of Africa, and the Trans-Eurasian Mountains. The Alps of Europe, ALPS, Alps of Europe, the Rockies of North America, US and Canada, the Andes of South America, the Atlas Mountains of Africa, and the Trans-Eurasian Mountains. Okay. ये Trans-Eurasian Mountains के part हैं Himalayas. Yeah, I'm giving the big ones. Himalayas, the Kunlun Shan Mountains. We have the Caucasus Mountains. the mountains of Iran, the mountains of Turkey, and the mountains of Europe, including Carpathians. GS में इतना काफी है for now. What are the mountains of alpine systems? Himalayan mountains. Okay, Kunlun Shan, China. Kunlun, Kunlun Shan mountains in China. Caucasus mountains, borders between Europe, Russia and Asia, Europe, yes. Caucasus countries, if you know, there are 3 countries that make up Caucasian countries. G-A-Z याद रखना, Gaz. Georgia, Armenia, and Z is Azerbaijan. Okay. यही sequence है from west towards east. The westernmost is Georgia, Armenia in between, and then you have got Azerbaijan. Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. So this Z I have added as Z for gas. Yeah, you're right. This also includes parts of southern Russia. Yes, it also includes some parts of southern Russia, Grozny and North Ossetia. Okay, some parts of Russia also. This is Caucasus. The mountains of Iran and the mountains of Turkey. And Carpathians are the longest mountain range of Europe. Carpathians are the longest mountain range of Europe. ये सारा बंद कब रहा है? In the Tertiary times. The Tertiary times is the most important mountain building phase of our current times. Okay, so I'm done with this fact. Then I hope all of you know about the Pleistocene times. This was the time of the Ice Age. The Ice Age. Ice Age approximately, I said 1.5 2 million years ago. 1.5 2 million years ago. The Ice Age. Yes, correct. The hominins, which were man-like species, the hominins had emerged around 5 million years ago. मतलब इनके बाद में हुआ है Ice Age. One of the oldest hominins, if you know of, some of you know this, Ramapithecus and Australopithecus. Australopithecus approximately 3 million years. ये हो चुका है. The evolution has happened. The way we know man emerges a bit later, approximately about 3 lakh years ago. Okay, but Pleistocene happens after the evolution of hominins. Hominins are a man-like earliest species. They are man-like earliest species. Okay. Ramapithecus, R-A-M-A, Ramapithecus is one species. The older ancestors of man. ये बहुत पुराना species है. Approximately 5 million years. इसके बाद में we had Australopithecus. This appears around 3 million years. ठीक है, some of you know a bit more. ठीक है, no problem. The Ice Age is the Pleistocene Ice Age. Okay, and just know, again a fact here, the Ice Age was interspersed by a relatively warmer times. We call this as interglacial times. The Ice Age was interspersed by, so Ice Age was not continuously very, very cold. The whole thing is Ice Age, बीच में एक warm time था, बीच में एक और warm time था, बीच में एक और warm time था. Okay. The warm times are called as interglacial, and these are called as the glacial phases. Between the two warm ones, we call as glacial phase, then interglacial phase, and so on. The interglacial phases were the warmer times. And one fact for all of you, yeah, what was that? Okay, one fact is, some of the examples of the glacial phases, are, there are 2-3 names. Glacial का मतलब है the cold phases, not the warm ones. Examples of the cold phase, okay, are, okay, Gunz, G-U-N-Z, Gunz, Riss, Mindel, and Worm. Just a kind of a trivia fact. Okay. When I say Ice Age, inside Ice Age, there were certain cold phases. And these cold phases are the cold phases of Europe. The glacial phases of Europe were Gunz, G-U-N-Z, Gunz, Riss, R-I-S, Riss, Mindel, and Worm, W-U-R-M. How did they name this? What basis? Ignore all of that. More of a trivia to know some facts about the Pleistocene Ice Age. Achha, I forgot one thing. Go back to the discussion where I wrote about the dinosaurs' extinction. All of you, please go back to that fact. Yeah. I wrote about the dinosaurs' extinction. वहाँ पर लिखो, this extinction phase, the extinction phase, okay, of dinosaurs is called as the KT extinction. The extinction phase of the dinosaurs is called as the KT extinction. इसलिए न्यूज में, because what they're saying is the present day extinction is more severe than the KT extinction. That's why it's in news. It's called as KT. KT is essentially short form of K represents Cretaceous and T represents Tertiary. So the boundary between Mesozoic and Cenozoic, or the boundary between Cretaceous and the Tertiary times, इस boundary को बोलते हैं KT boundary. I mean, it should have been C, but थोड़े अनपढ़ होंगे और क्या? They did not know. Okay, so KT boundary means the boundary between Mesozoic and Cenozoic times. This KT boundary corresponds to around 62 million years before present. So I've talked about the Permian extinction, the Great Dying. ये important था, बहुत बड़ा था. The other big one is the KT extinction. Okay, or at the KT boundary. KT boundary is the time between the Mesozoic and the Cenozoic or Tertiary times. Okay? So come back here. All done here? And then you know the Holocene. the emergence of, okay, Neolithic societies. 11700. Lot of books approximate this as 10,000 years ago. They approximate this as 10,000 years ago. Yeah, I said जो 4-5 questions आए हैं, okay, so you can just make a quick list of the PYQs from this topic. The PYQ from this topic. Just make a list so that you can go back and revise. One is the increasing duration of time. Phanerozoic is longest. Sorry, the eon is longest. The increasing time duration जो है, eon is longest was one question they asked. Then they asked arranging, okay, the periods of Paleozoic times. Arranging the periods of Paleozoic times. There's one question on formation of Pangea. Formation of Pangea was one. One has been on the Ice Age. On the Ice Age. And no, this was not UPSC question, but you can still know this. They asked about the fold mountains. The Tertiary fold mountains. Yeah, that's what I pulled out. Okay, then I am done with this topic. Can you take maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes and revise once? Any questions you want me to clarify, I'll do that. Holocene was the beginnings of the Neolithic times, Rita. The agriculture, fire, social living in groups. Okay, that was Holocene times. Yes? The epochs, yes, related to the coal fields. You can add one point, maybe under Carboniferous add kar sakte ho, in the Carboniferous, that Carboniferous is the age of the formation of the major coal fields of the world. In the Carboniferous of Paleozoic, Carboniferous is the age of the formation of the major coal fields on Earth. Some of the richest coal fields are Carboniferous coal fields. Okay. Carboniferous coal fields. Okay, the coals of Appalachians, ये US में है. The coal fields of Pennines, this is in UK. The coal fields of Ruhr Valley, this is Germany. These are among the richest coal fields. Appalachian, US and Canada, add kar lo. Okay. The Carboniferous time was the phase of the coal fields, and you're mentioning this, just know this, that the Indian coal is younger. The Indian coal is after the Carboniferous coal formation. The Indian coal is Gondwana coal. Gondwana coal is late Carboniferous to mid Mesozoic. No, Dhyanada, mid Mesozoic, the continent breakup happens. The formation started with the Tertiary times. Indian coal is younger. Indian coal happens after Carboniferous. So the time is from late Carboniferous up to mid Mesozoic. Therefore, Indian coal is inferior. It has a high ash content. It has high volatiles. It has low carbon content. Indian coal is inferior coal. It has high volatiles, gases होते हैं. It has lot of moisture, okay, and it has low carbon content. Therefore, we say Indian coal has a low calorific value. It has high sulfur. It has high sulfur content. That's why, despite abundance of coal in India, India is an importer of coal. We import coal from Australia, Indonesia, and also from South Africa. Okay. Indian coal is inferior coal. Indian coal has low calorific value. Indian coal has more ash content, more volatiles, more moisture content, and less carbon content. Yes. बस यही चार याद रखो. Okay, the glacial phases, they've got different names in different countries. Okay, the 4 names I gave you are the names in Europe. In US also we have different names: Nebraskan, Aftonian, Ionian. Okay, so you can miss that, no problem. You just remember these 4 ice age. ये SAF, ये कहाँ चला गया? Where have you brought in environment determinism? I don't know this term, what is it? Okay, मैं पढ़ के बताऊंगा आपको. अभी इतने याद किया मैंने, इतने ही बताऊंगा. All good, all of you fine? Okay. Let's move on towards rocks and minerals. Rocks and minerals. All of you please be careful. GS में geography का there's a bit different approach. Of course, those who have geography background, which many of you have because you're part of the class, try keeping them separate for now. Okay, some things like a lot of facts I mentioned today of geological time scale, I won't discuss in the regular class at all. We might teach this to you if you're part of the initiation program. Otherwise, in option, I don't need them at all. Okay, but in GS you need them. Whereas rocks also, okay, we have some specific reference, the type of questions asked. Okay, so you keep with me, it should help you there. Okay, so the crust. The crust is the outermost layer of earth. Okay, the crust is, keep jotting the points please. The crust is the outermost layer of earth. The crust and the interiors of earth are made up of elements. They're made up of minerals and rocks. We call these as the building blocks of the earth. Okay, the crust is the outermost layer. The crust and the interiors of earth are made up of elements. They're made up of minerals and they're made up of rocks. Elements, I hope you understand, is iron. Elements are silicon. Elements is oxygen. Elements is aluminium. Okay. Earth as a whole, iron is most abundant. If we consider Earth's crust alone, if I take up Earth as a whole, the most abundant element is iron. If we consider the Earth's crust alone, then the more abundant are, okay, oxygen, silicon, we have aluminium, इसी order में है, okay, oxygen, silicon, aluminium, iron, calcium, yeah, sodium, potassium and so on. If I take the whole earth, then I'm saying the maximum is iron as an element. If I look at the crust alone, the crust has more of these. These are lighter, ये ऊपर रह जाता है. Oxygen is abundant, then silicon, then aluminium and so on. Okay, so you understand this. These are the elements that make up the earth. Are you all jotting down as I speak? Yeah? Online, are you all jotting as I speak? Okay. Now come to minerals. In one of the sessions I had on minerals, okay, I discussed something. I say minerals, there are two references. One is minerals as a raw material in industrial process. Okay, ये एक meaning of minerals है. So this is bauxite is mineral, even sand is mineral. We have iron ore as mineral. We have coal as mineral fossil fuel. We have oil as mineral oil. This is mineral as in raw material for the industrial process. और एक है mineral in the geological sense. Both not same. This is the economic aspect of mineral. We call coal as a mineral. Okay. But when I talk in the geological sense, mineral means 3-4 things. Mineral means it is natural occurring. Mineral is a compound mostly. Mineral is always crystalline. It can also be an element. जैसे gold भी एक mineral है, but mostly minerals are compounds. Okay. In the geological sense, okay, coal is a rock, not mineral. Okay. Sand are depositions. They are not minerals. Okay. So one reference of mineral is mineral which are raw material for industries. A generic word, whatever I am mining is mineral. Okay. But in a geological sense, mineral means something. Mineral is a compound mostly. In some cases, it can also be element. Example, gold is a mineral, but element hai. But mostly the compounds hai. Then natural and they are crystalline. Okay. And generally we say minerals are, ये भी एक important property है. Minerals are, okay, non-organic in origin, mostly. They're not from life forms. Minerals are mostly non-organic in origin. The origin is not from life forms. The limestone एक तो rock है, and it has origin from, okay, life forms. So we don't say limestone is a mineral, it's a rock. But minerals generally are inorganic. Generally, I always add this word. They generally are inorganic. They are crystalline. They are compounds, and they are naturally occurring. Okay? Now, for our reference, there are many groups of minerals. There are many groups of minerals. So, groups are oxides. The groups can be sulfide. The groups can be sulfates. The groups can be, okay, halides, halogen. Oxides, इसमें oxygen है. Just think of hematite. It's an ore, it's a mineral oxide. Sulfides, okay, we have got calcium sulfide, barium sulfides, okay, we have got lead sulfides. Sulfates are very common. There's a gypsum. Gypsum is a sulfate. Barium sulfate. Okay, halides. Halides have halogens, like sodium chloride is a halide. Halogen. So there are many groups. Okay, just know this term. The most abundant mineral are silicates. The most abundant group of minerals are the silicates. Okay, so for GS itna kafi hai. Okay, so silicate minerals, you know as two types. There are lighter ones and there are denser ones. They are found more in the above layers. They are found more in the deeper layers. The lighter ones have more silicate proportion, and these have more metallic आप इतना याद रखो. Silicates, I can divide into two types of silicates. One are the light silicates, halka hota hai, the lighter silicates. Okay. They are found in the above layers of the earth, not in the deep layers. Above layers, very abundant in the crust, in particular in the continents. And then we find the lighter ones have more silicate proportion. So when I say silicates, I essentially mean compounds of oxygen and silicon. This is the silicate. The compound of oxygen and silicon together is silicate. Hota kya hai? There is a metal M1, a metal M2, okay, or some other cation like sodium or potassium, plus there is silicon and oxygen. ये सब मिलके होता है. Okay, there can be metal like say iron, there can be aluminium, there can be copper, okay, there can be magnesium. Okay, with this there will be some sodium, some potassium, and there is silicon and oxygen. So depending upon which is more. If this is more, we say it has more silicate proportion. If this is more, I'll say it has more metallic proportion. So in the above layers, you have got more silicates, more silica. Okay. You go down, you have got more metals. Okay. So broadly, these two types are there. Then we say the two types hai. These two types, I said lighter and in lesser depth. These are denser and these are in the deeper depths. Deeper depths, I hope you know mantle of the earth. Lesser depth, you know the crust of the earth. Broadly, silicates are of these two types. These, jo lighter hain, we call these as okay, non-ferromagnesium silicates. They have a very less amount of iron and magnesium. We call them as non-ferromagnesium silicates, and these are called as ferromagnesium silicates. These are lighter, these are denser. In fact, these also are okay, light in color. They also are they also are also light in color, where these have dark color. Non-ferromagnesium silicates and ferromagnesium silicates. You remember two names here. Okay. One of the most abundant one here is quartz. Quartz, and remember one more as feldspar. The many variants, these two are the most common non-ferromagnesium silicates, quartz and feldspar. Like you find abundance of this in sand. Quartz and feldspar are abundant in sands. And here you remember three names: amphibole, pyroxene, and olivine. Amphibole, pyroxene, and olivine. Olivine almost entirely found in the mantle. Olivine is the main mineral of the mantle of the earth. Olivine. Olivine is the main mineral of the mantle of the earth. Take all of you. I'll add two more properties on this. It's just like a table here. Okay. These are the name of the minerals. ये property है. And one more very important property is these types, the lighter ones and more of this one. These are when molten, they are very thick. They're very thick. And such magma is explosive. Such magma is explosive magma. If a volcano has this type of minerals, it will explode, very powerful ones. These type of minerals, when molten, they are very fluid. Such magma eruptions are quiet. Okay. Magma or rocks which have this type of minerals, they are very, very fluid. They will flow very easily. So the eruptions are not violent ones, they're very quiet eruptions. Examples of this type is granite rocks have this mineral, and these type basalt rocks. Wherever we have basalt eruptions, they will flow very easily. Wherever we have granite you can also add andesite is one type of a rock. These type of rocks will cause lot of destruction. So this is one table you must remember for minerals, that's all. All fine, all of you? So these are the names of the minerals. Something I used to do to remove this. I have forgotten now. Should I press this one? Okay. So remember these names. This is the main property and this is the property of the magma. This is property of magma. These two. All done, all of you? So dobara dekho, if I am helping revise, there is quartz, there is feldspar, there is amphibole, there is pyroxene, and there is olivine. Okay. These two are most abundant on the crust, khaskar on the continent crust. They are most abundant on the continents. These are the most abundant ones in sand, and these are more abundant in the mantle. So itna aap yaad rakhoge as a part of the minerals and the properties. And one fact is there is a Mohs scale. This was a question asked. There's a Mohs scale for measuring the hardness of the minerals. MOH, Mohs scale for measuring the hardness of the minerals. And in the Mohs scale, quartz is the hardest silicate. Quartz is the hardest This was a asked question. So from this, 2-3 questions asked. One question was on the composition of the earth in terms of elements. Arrange the following in sequence of silicon, iron, oxygen, वगैरह. This was asked once. They asked about the hardness. They asked this one, and they asked once on acidity. I forgot to mention that one. That these minerals, जो NFMS हैं, they are more acidic. Again at this point, they are more acidic minerals, whereas these minerals are more basic. This was an asked question. Acidic minerals and basic minerals with examples and their properties. This is your fundamental box to remember. Okay, it's 10:40 by my watch. Take a 5 minutes of break. Catch up with the bio break, take some water, and be back in 5 minutes, please. I'll start at 10:45. All of you, online, offline, all of you. Take a short break. Parnika, about 2.5 hours types. So the morning class, we go on till approximately 11:15, 11:20, half an hour more. And then at 12 o'clock, you have a break, and then 12 o'clock, we start again with history today. Aradhita, dekho, the content required keeps on changing. It's not that whatever you have done is not important, but you have to keep on adding and keep on enriching them. So don't make everything from scratch, but whatever your notes doesn't have, add that. That's my suggestion. Yes. भाई जैसे कि मिनरल ऑयल है या कोल है, ये लाइफ फॉर्म से बनते हैं. When life form dies, उससे बनता है. हम क्या मिनरल्स होते हैं, जियोलॉजी में पढ़ते हैं हम, we say that they are not formed from the life forms. ये नेचुरल अर्थ का प्रोसेस है, some chemical reactions, some volcanism, उससे बनते हैं. The minerals are not derived from the life forms. The arrangement of atoms उनका बड़ा specific form होता है. The crystal form में उनका जो geometry है, there are very fixed forms of geometry arrangement. Okay, then we call that crystalline. Crystalline का मतलब है they have got some kind of a fixed structure in how the atoms arrange. ठीक है. Yeah, Chetna, what was your doubt? Yes, Chetna, for PSP, I think we have offered that, but not otherwise. Geography Optional Foundation, yes, that's a commitment we have. We allow you in the class also. So you can be part of it, no problem, Chetna. there is no separate channel only for GS geography, Anirudh. We have one common one which has geography and environment, both optional and for geography. Some of you are live on the YouTube. If you have any doubts or queries, let me know. Yes, Anu. No, Prince. History will be taught by Uttam sir. मैं ही पढ़ाऊंगा हिस्ट्री तो फिर हो गया बेटा. मैंने हर हिस्ट्री में वोल्केनिज्म बता देना है. नोट्स कहां से लो? अनिरुद्ध, नोट्स बनाओ मेरे साथ क्लास में भी. Okay, you take the notes as I teach. Can you rely on that? Don't miss the classes. Write faster, Anirudh. No, Himanshu. GS का class है. Why should I cover entire optional geography here? Okay, दिल कुछ ज़्यादा ही मांग रहा है आपका. कुछ रह जाता है. You can always update that, not a problem. But कुछ रहना नहीं चाहिए. Prince, that's a trade-off you have to make. You have to find ways how to manage that, or you must enroll separately. Not everything, Aradhita, some of which I will do, but not everything. Okay, I think it's time now we start off. So I'm done with minerals. Now we get on with rocks. So I said in terms of composition, we have elements combine to form minerals, and minerals combine to form rocks. Okay. So we say that, rocks is what make landforms and features on the Earth's surface. Let me explain this to you. This is a common mistake people make about rocks and minerals. Say I have a feature called as a mountain. A mountain किससे बना है? Mountain has rocks. Rock किससे बना है? There are minerals. And the minerals are made up of elements. It's like, the organism is made up of organ systems. Organ systems are made up of organs. Organs are made up of tissues and cells and so on. So think of this hierarchy. So landforms are something like, you can say, organs. Landforms are made up of minerals, and the minerals are made up of elements. Okay, so we say rocks are the building blocks of landforms and the features on the Earth's surface. कोई भी लैंडफॉर्म है, essentially it is made up of rocks. अच्छा, now rocks, if I compare with minerals, if I compare rocks with minerals, minerals are compounds. Minerals के composition is very fixed, whereas rocks are not compounds. Rocks are mixtures. Rocks are aggregates of minerals. Okay? Minerals are compounds, rocks are not compounds. Because minerals are compounds, they have a fixed physical and chemical properties. Because they are compounds, they are fixed in terms of their properties. Whereas rocks, they are not fixed, fixed properties. Okay, so marble of Rajasthan is different from marble of Jabalpur. The basalt of Hawaiian highlands are different from basalts of the Deccan lava plateau. Okay, the sandstone of parts of Rajasthan are different from sandstones found in Gujarat. So they are not fixed properties. They vary. Minerals, I made a point here, minerals are crystalline and minerals are inorganic. Rocks में दोनों नहीं है. Rocks not always crystalline. Just if you know about rocks called as sedimentary rocks, they are not crystalline. Okay, and minerals are inorganic, rocks are both. They can be organic and they can also be inorganic. Organic का मतलब क्या होता है? They are sourced from living things. Organic, okay, from life. The example of an organic rock is coal. Organic is also limestone. Inorganic is igneous rocks, not from the life forms. Chalk, CHALK, chalk is also inorganic, although some type of chalks are also organic in nature. Okay, so these are the fundamental properties of minerals versus rocks. Please see if you have it now with you. Minerals, I said, are compounds. Rocks are not compounds. Rocks are mixtures. They are aggregates of minerals. Because the compounds, they are fixed properties. Fixed property, chemical and also physical. Okay. Rocks, there is no fixed property. It can vary from place to place. Minerals are crystalline. Rocks are not crystalline. Minerals are inorganic. Rocks can be both organic and inorganic. Achha. Next about rocks. Okay. Rock types. Now, इस पे questions पूछे गए हैं. Rock types on the basis of origin. There are three types of rocks. I think all of you know this. There is igneous rock. There are sedimentary rocks. And there are metamorphic rocks. These are the type of rocks on the basis of origin: igneous, sedimentary and metamorphosed. Igneous also called as primary rocks, secondary rocks, sedimentary and metamorphic are called as tertiary rocks. Igneous rocks are primary rocks, sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. Okay. Now, the properties of igneous rocks. This has been asked a couple of times. What are the properties of igneous rocks? Okay. Now, igneous rocks, they're always crystalline. They can be very fine crystals or they can be large crystals. ये अलग बात है. But igneous rocks are always crystalline. Igneous rocks are not layered. They are unstratified. They're not layered. Igneous rocks are azoic. They will not have fossils because they are formed from melting of lava. So whatever life could have been present, they will die off, or the remains will get obliterated. They're azoic. They will not have fossils. And like I said, they are formed from solidification of molten magma. Solidification of molten magma. Molten magma. Igneous rocks, they are of two types. You just keep pace with me on this. ये सब चीज को ना, don't write it as paragraphs. You just should know the broad heads. There are two types of igneous rocks. Okay. They can be intrusive. We also call these as plutonic rocks, or they can be extrusive. They are found outside the Earth's surface when the magma cools. Essentially, if this is the Earth's surface here, okay, there is Earth's surface, there is a source of magma called as magma chamber. From here, the lava can move up and come out and accumulate, or the magma can move up and become cold solid inside the Earth. If it comes out, I call this as extrusive. If it stays inside, I call this as intrusive. Okay? So it all depends on where the magma has cooled. It comes out, extrusive. Okay, it stays inside, intrusive. Intrusive, we also called as plutonic. Okay. Extrusive rocks, these will cool what? Slow or fast? They will cool fast. Whereas intrusive will cool slowly. Something that cools fast will form small crystals. Okay. Something which cools slowly will form large crystals. Okay. So extrusive rocks always have very fine. They can be very, very fine कि वो दिखाई नहीं देगा sometimes. It looks like, okay, there is no crystal, but igneous rocks are always crystalline. Remember this. The size of crystals can vary. The intrusive ones have large crystals. The extrusive ones have small crystals. The extrusive ones का example है basalt. Basalt is an extrusive rock. वैसे andesite is an extrusive rock. Whereas Intrusive one is, example is granite. Example is diorite. Example is gabbro. Yeah? What did you miss? Gabbro is intrusive, yes. Basalt is extrusive. Basalt is extrusive. Intrusive is gabbro. Yes, some of you know a bit more names. There are many more names here. Okay, but keep it this one for now for GS. Okay, so come back here. In this list, you have the properties now. इससे questions पूछे गए हैं, 2-3 questions पूछे गए हैं. Properties of intrusive, extrusive rocks. Intrusive rocks, I repeat, okay, they are large crystals because they cool slowly. Example of this is granite. Example of this is gabbro. A very common rock is diorite. ठीक उल्टा, extrusive rocks have small crystals. They cool fast. And examples I said was basalt and andesite. Okay. Now I'll give you one more name on this. There is one type of extrusive rock called as obsidian. Called as obsidian. Obsidian is, okay, very, very fine crystals. It's very, very fine crystals. Okay. It looks like glass. It will shine. Black in color, it shines. It's called as obsidian glass bhi bolte hain. Okay. Obsidian. This was an asked question. What is obsidian? Obsidian mineral nahi hai, rock hai. Okay, so some of you, if you have seen Game of Thrones, okay, so Game of Thrones mein, they talk about one rock called as Dragonstone. Dragonstone was obsidian rocks. Yeah? Yeah, it's very, very sharp. Okay, it's like glass. Zaat kat jayega types. Okay? So obsidian was an asked question once. Yes. In that series, they called it as dragon glass. Doesn't mean you call it dragon glass. आप इसको obsidian ही रखो. The black color rock, obsidian rock. Okay. And you may know one more fact, that basalt is a very fluid magma. Basalt is very fluid magma. And basalt forms lava plateaus. It forms what's called as a shield domes, like Hawaiian Islands. So, दो fact याद रखना है. Obsidian glass क्या होता है? Know this. And the fact that basalt is a very fluid magma. It can easily flow. It can flow and it forms lava plateaus. So, agar ye land hai, when basalt comes out, it will flow and become a very thin layer like this. Oh, I keep having a problem here. It forms a layer, okay, it will flow and become a sheet. They form lava sheets. Basalt. Ye do facts yaad rakho. Okay. And then come towards igneous rocks mein, in the intrusive, know two facts. In the intrusive, that intrusive rocks make intrusive landforms. Intrusive rocks, they make intrusive landforms. I think you remember what landforms are? Landforms are collection of rocks. Landforms are features on the earth, either visible outside the surface or inside. So I have drawn this. Okay. So inside the earth's surface, magma moves, magma cools and becomes a very large formation. This is an intrusive. This is an intrusive landform. Okay. So these intrusive landforms, they make up the core of the continents. Okay. The intrusive landforms, they are core of the continents. The intrusive landforms अंदर होते हैं. And some examples of intrusive landforms are, write down 4 or 5 names. The most common is batholith. This has been asked twice. Batholiths. Batholiths are not rocks. Batholiths are landforms. Batholiths are not rocks. Batholiths are bath. Bath means depth. Lith means rock. So rock of the depths, batholiths. Okay. These are the largest intrusive landforms. Batholiths are the largest intrusive landforms, and they are the deepest intrusive landforms. They are the largest intrusive landforms, and they are the deepest intrusive landforms. Achha, by the way, one important point. When I talk about intrusive landforms, देखो ये दो word confuse करेगा आपको. One is, what is an intrusive rock? Okay. Second is, what is intrusive landform? Intrusive rocks, these are rocks inside and under the earth's surface. They can be inside the crust, they can be inside the mantle also. When I say intrusive landforms, I always mean they are inside the crust. We don't talk about landforms inside the mantle. Remember this. Okay. So I'm assuming you know what crust or mantles are, but I'll explain that point to you also. ये याद रखना. When I use the word rock, I mean both crust and mantle के inside है. When I say landform, I don't mean mantle. Okay, we don't talk about landforms in the mantle. We just say mantle, that's all. So just for some of you, for clarification, this is the Earth's interiors. Okay, surface of Earth hai. Okay, and this surface of Earth is made up of continents. The surface of Earth is made up of thin layers of oceans. The surface of Earth is made up of continents, made up of oceans, and so on. And whatever I have here, okay, these are the mantle rocks. These are the mantle. This is continents, they are thicker, and these are the oceans. Okay. I can have intrusive rocks here. We can have intrusive rocks here, intrusive rocks here, intrusive rocks here, intrusive rocks here. But in landforms we say, we have intrusive landform here. We have intrusive landform here. We do not have intrusive landform here or not even here. Whenever I say intrusive landform, I always mean the crust, and crust also only the continental crust. I hope that's okay all of you here. Okay. So back to your notes. Okay. Back to notes. I said, when I say intrusive landforms, हम किसकी बात कर रहे हैं यहां पर? किसकी बात कर रहे हैं? इंट्रूसिव लैंडफॉर्म मतलब क्या होगा? दिस इज ओनली इनसाइड द कॉन्टिनेंट crust. So people ask me, sir, how can you say the deepest landform is batholith? Why can't we have deepest inside the mantle? Mantle में हम बस rock की बात करते हैं, not the landforms. That's the point. So when I say intrusive landform, I always mean inside the continent's crust. So batholith is one of them. And I think some of you may have heard of landforms called dike and sills and laccolith. These are some examples of volcanic landforms. We'll take it up eventually. For now, this is fine. Okay. And one important point, that all intrusive landforms are granites and diorites mostly. तो guess लगाना होगा the composition. All intrusive landforms are these two rocks mostly, granites and diorites mostly. And these two rocks, they are hard, they have small crystals. They have small crystals, and their magma is thick. These are some 4 points you'll remember. Okay. I repeat, all intrusive landforms are mostly granites and diorites. Granite is never an extrusive rock or extrusive landform nahi banata. It will form intrusive, okay, and they are hard, they are small crystals, and their magma is thick. When they are molten, the magma is thick. Can you go back and check once if you have noted the points properly? Yes. Yes, तो मैंने क्या लिखा? Oh, sorry. Yeah, thanks, sorry. Not small, large, correct. Thank you. Yeah, large crystals, thanks, yes. Intrusive will have large crystals. Intrusive, they are generally hard. And intrusive, the magma when molten is thicker. Yeah, Parnika, yeah, I made a mistake, rectify that. In fact, the rocks, the granite rocks with largest crystals, they are called as pegmatite granites. They are called as pegmatite granites. अच्छा, एक और पॉइंट आई कुड हैव एडेड, ये लिख लो पहले, पेग्माटाइट, PEGMATIT, पेग्माटाइट ग्रेनाइट्स, दे आर लार्ज क्रिस्टल ग्रेनाइट्स. Okay. Now one more fact you could add here, in the properties of igneous, जहां आप लिख रहे थे igneous properties लिख रहे थे, उसमें एक प्रॉपर्टी ऐड करो. Where did I add that? Somewhere here. Yeah. The crystalline, not layered, azoic structure. इसमें एक ऐड करो. There are also poor aquifers. They are poor aquifer. Means they will not hold good amount of groundwater. because वो porous नहीं होते, they don't have air spaces. They are poor aquifers. They will not hold groundwater. अगर ground होगा तो कुछ cracks में होते हैं, otherwise they are poor aquifers. That's about igneous rocks. Let's talk about sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks में they have been asking questions. Sedimentary rocks. Okay. So sedimentary rocks are rocks formed because of sediments of fusing or cementing together. They form because sediments, they fuse or they cement together. Sedimentary rocks, they are softer. Sedimentary rocks are lighter. They will have air spaces mostly, not every time, mostly. Okay. They are good aquifers, again mostly. They're softer, they're lighter. Okay. They are easily erodible. Sedimentary rocks. Okay. Their formation is associated with the role of erosion agents. Role of wind, role of water, role of glaciers. They're associated with a role of erosion agents. Okay. So for sedimentary rocks, there are certain stages. We have first sedimentation, then we will have accumulation, then we will have compaction, then we will have lithification. These are stages in the formation of sedimentary rocks. The sedimentation का मतलब है sediments are formed and they accumulate as layers. Compaction means they are squeezed, some air and water gets removed. Compaction. And then lithification is the actual rock formation. तो ये जो दो stage है, sedimentation and accumulation, this creates layers. This creates layers in sedimentary rocks. So sedimentary rocks are stratified. That's the important point. Sedimentary rocks are layered. So sedimentary rocks are stratified. They have layered rocks. You can distinguish the layers. They are stratified. Okay. Some examples. You can take a small. One more point. Because ये accumulate होते हैं, okay, the way we have talked about, therefore, they are also fossiliferous. This has been asked 3-4 times. Which type of rocks have fossils? Okay, sedimentary rocks are fossiliferous. Okay, a life form dies, sediments accumulate, the layers are formed, this now become a rock. Inside the rock, there is the fossil remains, which are preserved. So sedimentary rocks are fossiliferous. They are fossiliferous, or they are zoic rocks. Zoic ka matlab hai they have remains of life forms. They are zoic rocks. Igneous rocks are azoic. These are zoic rocks. They are fossiliferous. Okay. Now, in terms of examples, you can take this down. So we have sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks, which are of clay origin. We call these as clastic. We have organic origin, and we have chemical origin. The different ways how the sedimentary rocks can be formed. The clay ones are called as clastic rocks. You have to remember these names. Clastic rocks. Examples of clastic rocks are sandstone, shale, breccia, and conglomerates. Which are organic origin. Okay. Coal, limestone, one type of limestone called as cherts, and chemical origin. You can add dolomite, even chalk. So this is a short summary of examples and types of sedimentary rocks. Clay origin called as clastic, C-L-A-S-T-I-C, clastic. Organic origin means from life forms, and the chemical origin is some chemical reactions. Chalk and even limestone you can add here. Both have calcium carbonate, but there is some difference in how they are made. Okay. Now, questions have been asked on these two. Is pe pucha hai question? They've asked on limestone also, and they've asked on dolomite. Dolomite is a very important refractory mineral. Dolomite is an example of a refractory mineral. It can withstand very high heat. Lot of blast furnace bricks are made up of dolomites. Limestone, you understand, it is a construction. Limestone, say you have cement, okay, and sandstone, shale. Both are again construction material. Okay, so they have been asking questions. Sandstone, shale. So 2-3 points on some of them. Let's say, okay, let's write about shale. Okay, shale, sedimentary rock. It is highly porous. It has a lot of air spaces. Shale is highly porous, and shale is good aquifer, and shale also has mineral oil. Shale also has mineral oil. इसलिए shale oil बोलते हैं. But shale oil is nothing but the crude oil found in shale. Okay, and from shale, if you want to extract oil, they need a process called as fracking, which is costly. A process called fracking, F-R-A-C-K-I-N-G, fracking process that makes the oil from shale expensive. But shale has abundant amounts. So if we can find some cheaper way of fracking, then we can have lot of oil from the shale gas. From shale oil bhi hai, shale gas bhi hota hai. In India, shale is found in parts of Meghalaya. Okay. Meghalaya is known to have a shale gas and shale oil. And one of the largest shale oil gas is in US. Okay. So if they can find a method which they are researching on, agar mil jata hai, then oil can be extracted very, very conveniently. Lot of oil is in the shale. Okay, shale oil. And just know this fact here, that oil, crude oil, is always found in sedimentary rocks. Crude oil is always found in sedimentary rocks. The more common rocks are sandstone mein. Most of this is from sandstone. Okay, but now I mentioned shale also has a lot of oil potential. So that's one fact. Second fact, I was writing about dolomite, I mentioned. Dolomite is a refractory mineral. It is a refractory mineral. Okay, it is used to make bricks. Bricks with very high heat resistance. Refractory mineral, it is used to make bricks that has very high heat resistance. So, dolomite goes into construction of the blast furnace. So, you have this massive containers, okay, blast furnace. The blast furnace के जो inner layers हैं, the inner layers are made up of refractory bricks in which they do melting, smelting, whatever. So this is where you require dolomite. And India has abundance of dolomite. Parts of Odisha, parts of Jharkhand. Okay, India is one of the large producers of dolomite. That's one fact. Now a few things about limestone properties. Limestone. Limestone is calcium carbonate. Limestone is formed from the remains of marine organisms. Limestones formed from the remains of marine organisms. Limestone is found in the coastal regions, found in the continental shelves, coastal regions, shelves, and they're abundant in the fold mountains. Jahan par bhi fold mountains hain, okay, you will have limestones. Yeah, because fold mountains are marine origin. They're found along the coasts, they're found along the continental shelves, and they're found along the areas of fold mountains. Because some of us know this maybe, the fold mountains are formed from the marine sediments, that's why. Achha. Then limestone, ab sedimentary rocks hum bolte hain to kya bolte hain? Hum soft bolte hain, right? Limestone is hard, very durable. Limestone is hard. Okay. It is vulnerable to dissolution action. It is vulnerable to dissolution. Matlab, okay, it is soluble. So if there is water with some amount of carbon dioxide dissolved, it can easily dissolve limestone and marble. Otherwise, limestone hard hota hai. It's hard. That's why limestone is also an important construction material. Unlike other sedimentary rocks, limestone is not good aquifer. It will not store water. Limestone is not a good aquifer, unlike other sedimentary rocks. Limestone is non-porous. It is also non-permeable. ना water hold करेगा और ना ही water pass करने देगा. This is a limestone layer. ये अगर limestone layer है, okay, it will block water. Water ऊपर रह जाएगा. And it can't allow the water to pass also unless the water dissolves. If it doesn't dissolve, it will not pass. There are no gaps within limestone. It is non-porous, non-permeable. But because of dissolution action, okay, limestone regions can have underground water. As part of underground streams. But not stored within the rocks. So what I mean by this? Dekho, this is a sandstone and this is a limestone. In sandstone, there are gaps, there are air space. Water can enter this, water can remain in the air space. Okay. Water can flow through this. Limestone mein, there are no gaps. Agar water डालोगे, water यहाँ फंस जाएगा. Water will not percolate down. But slowly, gradually, when water starts eroding, inside the limestone, there can be a massive cave. In this cave, I can have some water here. I can have a river moving inside the cave. Ye possible hai. Okay. But the water is not inside the rock. It is inside the limestone formation. But rock ke andar mein pani nahi hai. I hope you understand this. Okay. So these type of limestone formations associated with, okay, water movements inside limestone rocks, we call these as karst landscape. The limestone formations associated with water, okay, moving inside the formations is called as karst. Some of the large karst topographies we have in parts of Slovenia. We have in parts of Croatia. This is erstwhile Yugoslavia. Postania caves bolte hain. Very, very remarkable formations. Okay. In Slovenia and Croatia. Okay. That region is karst province, and that's how they have named it. So limestone rocks, limestone ke properties kya hain? And limestone is a important raw material for the cement industries. Limestone has important raw material for cement industries. Quickly, just one last discussion. Metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks, they are dramatically transformed rocks. They are dramatically transformed rocks. They can be igneous, metamorphosed. They can be a sedimentary, metamorphosed. And the reasons is pressure and heat. Pressure and heat. They are transformed rocks. Metamorphosed. Metamorphosed, if it is heat, this is thermal metamorphism. Agar pressure hai, we call this as dynamic metamorphism. Generally, both play a role. The metamorphism is because of both temperature and also pressure. If temperature plays a role, we call that as thermal metamorphism, or pressure we call that as dynamic metamorphism. Now, properties of metamorphic rocks, yes? Which class? Fine, I'll wind up now. Okay, but there's other class happening here for history. Okay, so just give me 2 more minutes, you are done. So properties of metamorphic rocks. One is they are crystalline. Metamorphic rocks, they will not have layers, and metamorphic rocks are also azoic. Metamorphic rocks are crystalline like igneous rocks. They also will not have layers, okay, and they are azoic. Fine, we continue tomorrow. So some of these topics are very elementary topics. Given a choice, I would have expected that most of you read this on your own, but then we cover fast so that you have a sense of completion. Revise this, we continue tomorrow. Tomorrow I think I'll take you towards some bit of, meteorites and all of that, rock properties and interiors of Earth. Okay, fine. Yeah, at 12 o'clock, as a part of this program, we have a history class. And others, whatever class you have been committed, polity or whatever, you can do that. Okay.